this week we asked a question. If you had a debate between Kamla and Keith alone, what would you learn? What would you learn? What would you come away from? Who thief more? Who less worse? What would you have gotten? Let's talk. Let's talk, because today, Keith Rowley gave a perfect example to the nation. Now, I'm telling you, interrupted my birthday. People called to ask if I gave him permission to do a 3-hour, the man did a 3-hour meandering diatribe. Nothing, nobody paying attention to what that jackass did today came away from it in any way elucidated or enlightened. He set off on a path without an idea as to the destination and found himself there. The media, for all their, I don't know what to say anymore. I don't know what to call them. Do we have journalists in this country? In a real country, people would have challenged this jackass. People would have challenged him. Keith Rowley is proving to the world. Somebody tell me this man is all hat and no cowboy. He came to the nation today with a crocus bag of ass and forgot the crocus bag. So it's only ass. 3 hours of ass interrupted my birthday. My birthday was going good. Enjoying my birthday. Thanks to everybody for all the love and all the greetings and everything. And it was going good. And then this jackass had to come and interrupt it with this to create another, I have to assume, distraction. Because nobody has a clue. Now, what was the purpose of it? Was this him fighting Facebook? Was this Keith Rowley for 3 hours today throwing a tantrum because people don't give a shit about his nonsense anymore? Is that what's going on? Is Keith losing the plot? Stuarty, Johnny Sukaran, hold on, all your boy, you know. He about to go off the reservation because PNM people telling you, miss us with your bullshit. PNM people telling me, nah, you win. PNM people tell me that, you win. I'm not to say. Don't ask me, I can't defend it. The man is a jackass. I'm talking about, listen, all you know, I'm in the trenches long time. We're having this conversation for decades. And there is respect across the divide. But some of them say, take win, take win. Take win, he's a jackass, he's a jackass. When I went on Fazir's show a year ago to announce the first anniversary, Fazir Mohammed asked me how I felt about calling the Prime Minister a jackass. I said, but Fazir, everybody in the country know by now he's a jackass. Fazir said people in the PNM may not agree with you. There may be people who trying to hold on to the PNM legacy, but no, they know. Nobody getting that car with him. Nobody want to go down the road with Rowley. Nobody trusts him. Nobody believes in him. Nobody is proud of him. Nobody could say that I'm a leader. And then, if that was not enough, the UNC put out an immediate response that copied and pasted. This is not bullshit. I'm going to read to you. If I read this to you, tell me whose voice you hear this in. Because UNC never talked like this before. Our citizens deserve good governance and a leader and a team that has vision and a plan to move our nation forward and return to sustainable growth and a brighter future. We will not allow Rowley and his band of bandits, I changed the Rowley government, to dictate our narrative and going forward with the same tired campaign rhetoric. The country needs a leader with plans, policies, ideas, and political will at this time and not a perennial political campaigner. You ever hear Kamala talk so? In all she is, you ever hear anybody in the UNC use those words? UNC so accustomed to thieving. That's all they do, you know. The UNC is thief and is coming to power. But the reason that some UNC supporters like Kamala is because when Eric Williams said that the East Indian community is a recalcitrant minority, he pulled the resources of state away from Indians. Were it not for Satmaraj, Indian people still have road and pavement and electricity yet, you know. But stick a pin there. Stick a pin there. The UNC, for itself, all they came up with was a plan. Just go and everything that the PNM failed to build in Indian communities, build it, overprice it, and thief from it. Because that was the UNC's policy. To enrich friends, family, and financiers who didn't eat under the PNM. And you have to get this straight. Because if you were a UNC sycophant or troll and you got a road, you were entitled to a road. The UNC didn't give you anything out of their magic bag of tricks. What they did was give you a road that was 5 or 10 times the cost of the road for half the value. Most of them roads UNC laid on, washing away with flood. Why you think? Them fellas just come and off-road, take that, it looking like it walking on, make a move. This UNC government has nothing of value when it comes to plans, policies, programs, and ideas. The Progressive Empowerment Party cut both of them off at their knees. They can't debate us. And they know that. They won't debate us. They can't talk to us about flooding management, of our environmental policy. They can't talk to us about education, public health. They can't talk to us about the economy. They can't talk to us about national security. They cannot answer. Kamala Manning, Pandey Rowley cannot answer. I was on his live video and I was just asking Rowley questions. Explain why we don't have secured borders yet in this narco state. You see the name of this video? What really going on in this banana? A man posts today. You could feel the man's grief. You could feel his grief in his post. A man named Bisesa Singh. Only read that post yet? Only read that? I gotta try and find it here while my Wi-Fi fights me, because God only knows what would happen to this live feed. One night we had take a couple weeks off of doing lives, and one night I did a live and we got over 1,000 views because they had forget the jam. So I think now we have to do it to keep surprising them. Yeah? But seriously, unto the citizens of the country, because I don't get it, you know, it must, at some point it must come up on my page. At some point I must be able to load it back. I can't load it right now. So, and if they interfere with the feed, I'll come back at you and on the radio Monday again. And Rowley lawyers suing me again. That's all they're trying to do. Somebody tell me today, Philip, they're going to shut you up. They want to shut you up. And if they can't sue you into oblivion, if they can't destroy your name, they go kill you. That's what people believe. People are afraid. There are people in this country who are deathly afraid for Philip Alexander. Kamala Prasad Bisesa says, Keith Rowley and his government are incapable of moving our country forward. But she wasn't either. She moved nothing forward. I see the UNC, Shembaldeo Singh and Jagdeo Singh pelt some money in for Rodney Charles and them to come with their bullshit. So they do this Kamala fault that this bill didn't get built. Friend, the UNC so accustomed to thieving. All they do is thief. I telling you, Manning built Chancery Lane Complex in San Fernando. UNC convert Chancery Lane Complex into a hospital and tell people they build it. They build it. Manning built Scarborough Hospital. UNC open it and tell the nation they build it. I designed the bypass at Four Roads that start at Victoria Gardens and end at Acton Court. And I designed it when Jack Warner was Minister of Works and he facilitated it. UNC put out a video that they built the whole Diego Martin Crystal Stream Highway. All they good at is thief. A fella named, a profile named Mechamex. That's what they had to do. Whole day they making fake profile to come and attack Philip Alexander. Whole day. That's all they have left. Because they can't actually have a conversation. Because for them to have a conversation and to actually account, we ask on the radio, somebody say, all them 100 are phone call, all they get on the radio, not one of them attack the hosts. I say, you know why? Because when you ask a question like, do you think that you deserve water? Not even a sycophant is going to call and say, no, we deserve empty taps. God praise PNM and UNC. Give we cup where pipe should be. Not even a sycophant is so foolish. Not even, you understand what I'm trying to tell you? So we're going to ask the questions just so. Do your children deserve food? Yes or no? Does mommy and papi deserve a proper hospital? If they go in the hospital, you tell me. I'm still trying to find this thing, you know. You tell me, you think mommy and papi, if they go in the hospital, because a man put up a post about his mother went in the hospital with water in her lungs, an aging elderly lady, and they couldn't find a bed for her. So she sit on a chair in San Fernando General Hospital for 2 days. And then they move her all over the place by car because nobody could have find an ambulance to move her. And nobody cares, you know. For some reason, and this is the hard mission here, if we find a way to break this, we win. Whatever it is, whatever OBA they do all here, that if somebody else suffering, but it air you, fireman. Because that is what allowing it to continue. That's what allowing it to continue. You hearing about little black hen chicken children killing one another. And you don't mind. You don't mind. Because it ain't your child. 500 people dead last year, but they're you. So you don't care. And that is the problem. That's the biggest problem with us in this country. That we don't seem to understand that we are a collective. And that if we spoke as a collective, if for a minute we spoke as one people, they wouldn't dare try to build a Sandals. But even that we're taking credit for. And I don't know if we should. I don't know if the people should take credit for Sandals not coming to Trinidad. There may very well be Sandals collapse. Sandals, the organization, is collapsing, you know. And it may very well be that Sandals couldn't even hold their own part of the thing. Christina King posted, people need to shut up about it's a pity Sandals pull out. It's a pity the state of the governance is the way it is. It's a pity how much crime and corruption going on. How messed up our healthcare system is. The conditions of our roads when we have right here the pitch lake. That people losing jobs left, right and center. That the value of $100 is now worth $5. That all the government good for is passing blame and creating debt and memes. Just shut up about it and start doing something about the millions of things actually wrong with this country. Sandals is not one of those things. And we the people of Trinidad, we the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we have to learn. I'm getting it. Hear what this man put. This is a fellow named Rudolph Bisessa Singh. At age 62, I do not think I will be voting ever again in Trinidad. What is democracy? It is government for the people. This week, my wife, who has a heart condition with water in her lungs, had to sit on a chair for 2 days and 2 nights, and eventually she was turned away by the San Fernando General Hospital because there was no bed space. I tried to contact the management of the hospital over the past 3 days. They were not in office or in a meeting. The place is understaffed and no drugs, no beds, no nurses, no ambulances. I went to Siparia Health Center and was told no ambulance. I wonder who is really monitoring anything in this country. I paid through a vicious law health surcharge for 44 years, an average of $2,000 a month for 33 years. It was no better under the UNC. My mother waited for 5 days on a trolley with pneumonia before she was attended to 5 years ago. The people only matter to vote so that smart men can enrich themselves from rags to political riches. Funeral homes, #1 business. Politics, #2 to get filthy rich. The suffering of the masses is not important. Politics is about being a shameless deceiver. I will not be voting. Leave that to the mindless sycophants. You can't give the man wrong. You can't give the man wrong. When you watch your wife and your mother go through that, you can't get them wrong. When you realize these stunting jackasses, Manning, Pandey, Rowley, Kamler, spend $100 billion in public health. You know what we're going to get for $100 billion? We're going to buy St. Kitts, Nevis, Grenada, and Dominica. For $100 billion, we make some contract mafia and 1%ers rich going all the way up Goodwood Park Hill. They're buying out Fairways now. This is the only country where Fairways property, the height of a recession, could come on the market for $20 million. And when it finished selling, it reached $30 million. Bidding wars. Contract mafia and 1% have more money than they know how to do it. How? How in heaven's name do you, sufferer that you are, suffering, because a lot of you think you're not poor because you've seen pictures of greater poverty than yours. Yet, your wealth, or what you consider your wealth, could be wiped out with a lost job. With one family illness, your wealth is tenuous at best. You're making ends meet and you have a little bit left over to take the family to Disney World and post pictures on Instagram. You're rich, you're making do. That's where everybody needs to be to start to go forward. That's the baseline. We think that as long as there are people suffering more than we okay. Crabs in a freaking barrel. Instead of pulling together 1.4 million of us and say, if all of us have good roads to drive on, I win. If the price of food everybody could afford, I win. If the government make it so that everybody could have a home and jobs so crime could done, I win. If they shut down the nation's borders so the narco barons could stop using Trinidad and Tobago as a stomping ground to move their billions of dollars worth of cocaine to America, Canada, and England, I win. Once crime could done, I win. Once the price of food could come down, I win. Once the banks could reduce the spread on the foreign exchange from $6.01 buying to $6.77 selling, so that they don't impose a 13% tax on every single thing in the country. As long as I could get water in my taps 24/7, I win. That if I pay Digicel or Flow or B-Mobile for an internet service and they don't provide it, there is an organization of state that I could go to and they would write them to tell them, you owe Mr. Alexander a refund. But there's nothing like that. And there's nothing like that because we line up like sheep to the slaughter. We line up like sheep. As we do not get that it is our individuality that they exploited. That if we was to hold hands, no brother, we ain't taking that again. You hear the song I played to open? Real unity. Not PNM, UNC bullshit racism. Real unity. I don't care if you're white and you don't like black people. Leave this country. I don't care if you're black and you don't like white people. Leave this country. Trinidad and Tobago is supposed to be a nation, plural, multi-ethnic, multiracial, all of us. Here, every creed and race find an equal place. If you don't like any race, if you think only your race matter, go wherever that race is alone in the world and celebrate your whiteness, celebrate your blackness. Pick your Syrian ass up and go back, Syria. Go back. There are people paddling boats to get in here. First, the place nice. Here, man, Trinidad and Tobago, you have to accept responsibility for the fact that we had money that was stolen by our leaders and their friends in the business community and accommodated by the law fraternity and the accountants, and that we frustrated anything. You want to see how quick police services work in this country, how fast the law could work? Go in Massey and take a bag of cricks and a tin of corned beef and don't pay for it. See how fast that case worked its way through that court. But steal $400 million, steal $155 million from TSTT and use it to buy a flip-flop company called Massey Communication. They have no law enforcement for that. $100 million in fake oil bill and get paid. They have no law for that. They have no law enforcement for that. If they find $600 million worth of cocaine in Norfolk, Virginia, and nobody can trace how the hell it come into the country, get inside Essential Hill, get inside the machine, get inside the packs, get inside the boxes, get shipped to the airport, get loaded on the plane, who signed the document, till the Attorney General himself, Faris Johnny Sukaran Al-Rawi, went in the parliament and tell them, we can't account for this. We don't know who import it, we don't know who pack it, we don't know who bring it to the airport, we don't know who ship it. They have no name on the manifest, they have no name on the bill of lading, they have nobody who was going to receive it in the country. Casper, the friendly freaking ghost in cocaine business in Trinidad and Tobago. You know why? Because there is a vast conspiracy that the PNM and the UNC are a part of. Kamala only jockeying for work. She don't want to run the country, you know. She want to fly around the place in helicopter again. She want good health care in her old age. Kamala want to party with the boys and the girls again. These people don't run the country. The contract mafia do. And it is them, through the PNM and UNC, that we are challenging. It is them. I asked today, on Keith Rowley's meandering diatribe, the 3-hour-long bullshit public, whatever the hell that was. How are contracts being awarded for security in this country? Is it open to the public for every security company to tender, or is it all sole select? And sole select, there are very strict criteria, because if you as the government could determine where the money of the country gets spent without transparency, without accountability, that opens the door for open corruption. And that is Trinidad and Tobago. We are the most corrupt nation in the world. There are some PNM jackasses who will join the conversation and tell you they know of a couple more corrupt countries. They will want to tell you Somalia, Rwanda, maybe Haiti. I don't care. I don't like that is the company my country is keeping. I don't like that is the circles that we are moving in. I don't like that you could argue that we're not the worst. There are a couple worse than we. Trinidad and Tobago should be one of the wealthiest nations in the world. We should be first world. We should be developed. But you keep voting jackasses into government. You keep voting we time now bullshit. And when they get there, you are part of the we that having the time now. But you're thinking, the hair wavy like mine, I win. Or the hair joking with a afro comb, so I win. But both of all your lost, because both of all you're still suffering. Still suffering. Nothing changed. The media workers that broadcasting filth and propaganda are being paid under the table. Government contracts. Manning went public. Manning gave them a scholarship. Manning gave them a scholarship to lie. We excel in this country at deviance and deceit. It is time. It is way past time that we accept responsibility for the circumstances and the entire condition of this country. Because the day, and that's what we do. The Progressive Empowerment Party is making one bet, you know. One bet. We're making one gamble. That there are more good and decent people in this country than there are racist, corrupt fools. If we win, we all win. If we lose, we all lose. Understand, a next 5-year term of either the PNM or the UNC is a frightening prospect to even consider. There is a madness that takes place in those two parties. The contract mafia have already made its deals with the UNC ministers. If you get back in office. I remember watching a partner, and I know that he's a member of the contract mafia, sit down with a minister who became nearly a minister of everything in the PNM, buying him fancy food in a sushi bar in one Woodbrook Place. These people see this country as something to fleece. They see you, the owners of the country, the shareholders of this country, they see you as fools, something to manage, something to deceive, something to organize. They want you working and they want you consuming. They want you drunk and bent over and whining back in the night. They want you clocking a card and packing bucks in the day. They want you to take your little meager salary and hush your mouth and spend it back in their company. They want you to be obedient slaves. And they want to use debt and they want to use credit to whip you into shape. So you can't come and bite the hand that feeds you in case your very bad condition gets worse. But hear what I'm telling you. It's getting worse anyway. Petrotrin, TSTT, WASA, TNTEC, if all do fall down now, within the next 3 years, under this madness, they're all gone. Jobs for life, permanent jobs, all are y'all on contract. All are y'all on contract. And who are on contract? Yet the unions selling you out to put you on contract. So you can't argue and you can't fight. You want to tie up yourself in the industrial court to hope for a blind. And when you finish paying the lawyer, you break even. The reality of our situation is our governments have failed. Keith Rowley is in free fall. His government has collapsed. It is what you call a lame duck. There is nothing he can do now. There is nothing of substance. There is nothing Keith Rowley could bring to the table and tell the nation, this is what we plan to do, and anybody take him seriously. Nobody expects success. Nobody expects transparency. Nobody expects decency. Nobody expects legitimacy. Nobody expects accountability. Nobody's expecting anything like leadership out of that rancid, rowdy bunch. and the motley crew in yellow across the aisle, still fresh in our memory. The only thing that the UNC and didn't thief when they was there was milk and sugar out of coffee. They thief everything else. There are businesses running in this country that every time they make a public transaction, somebody who was a UNC financier under Kamla getting a tax. They have companies in Trinidad and Tobago that sends bills to the Ministry of Works and Ministry of Public Utilities, Accounts Department, Ministry of National Security. There are companies in this country that sends bills and invoices to the Ministry of Health that provides no goods, no service, nothing. It's just paper, and if the paper make it through and get stamped and get paid, all along the food chain line, splitting the money with the person who dared to send the bill. That is the madness of this country. We bailed out Clicquot $25 billion, and the first $1.5 billion paid people ghost accounts who went to do withdrawals out of accounts that didn't exist. And people on the other side of the teller station was paying them and collecting their share after the fact. All of it to rob you. To rob you, your children, your grandchildren. The government of the day and the opposition are working in harmony, in conspiracy, fronting the contract mafia and a deviant 1% and unethical law fraternity. This country has a system now where the last thing they want to take away from you is your right to speak out and to ask questions, to say, what the fork is this? How can this be happening? I am about to answer in the court for asking this question. How was the chairman of EMBD allowed to give himself, as owner of Nutrimix, 100 acres of EMBD land? I am entitled to ask that question. It reeks of corruption. It reeks of a lack of transparency and open nepotism and anything else that you could think of. Questions like that in a democracy supposed to be asked and answered to the benefit of the entire citizenry. We are fighting in this country a system so badly broken. We are literally putting ourselves at risk to all types of victimization. You must know, you must be clear in your mind that you too have a role. You too have a responsibility. If we don't start rowing this boat in the same direction, this Trinidad and Tobago going to sink, and you will lose everything that you think that you have as a value in this world. Everything. You will watch your children and your grandchildren, birth certificate and passport floating on the water, and you will realize what it feels like to get to a point in time when nobody has responsibility to the actions that they set in train that made your life a living hell. Learn to sort garbage. All them people who used to cuss and beat up and laugh at, you gotta go and jostle with them to see where you're feeding your children tomorrow. And if you think that that is not true, go tonight. Just go tonight to the Port of Spain General Hospital and ask to see a doctor. Go tonight. Go tonight. Go tomorrow morning and get your passport at immigration office. A one-day transaction takes 6 months here. Go tomorrow to the Ministry of Legal Affairs. Get your birth certificate. Go tomorrow. Go and, you know what? Just go and get your H1N1 vaccine. Line up 4 o'clock in the morning. Go and see. Go and see for yourself the madness that is this banana republic, this narco state, this failed nation cesspool shithole that is Trinidad and Tobago. Go and see for yourself. Don't pull no string. Go. You remember how it felt trying to get somebody to do something right to deal with your license inspection for your vehicle, and man hinted that for $1,500 you're not gonna waste all this time, you know. Then I'm gonna reject you now. Now I'm gonna send you back to fix all kind of shit on this car that go cost you more than the $1,500. So if you pay me the $1,500, you happy and I happy. And that is the madness of this country. The Tobago House of Assembly is a criminal enterprise, cannot account for $15 billion that it spent. It is a criminal enterprise. The Tobago House of Assembly should be put in receivership and a criminal investigation launched into that. The Vehicle Maintenance Company of Trinidad and Tobago is receiving hundreds of millions of taxpayers' dollars to junk brand new police, ambulance, TNTech, all of those vehicles that you're getting paid to fix. You're junking them, and Sabga and Toyota and Mazda laughing all the way to the bank. We are spending twice the money to get half the service. Go to any organization of state and sit down there. Take your elders to sort out their pension. A one-day transaction. See how long that takes. The truth of the matter, hope and pray that the wolf, and when we say the wolf, don't look for little black boys coming to rob you with a gun in your face, you know. That's not the only wolf out there. They have wolves like a diagnosis. They get a diagnosis, and that is your child. And all of a sudden, your world stopped making sense. All of a sudden, you have a diagnosis that nobody enjoys. You will ask, we spent $100 billion in the last 20 years. Where is that money? And there will be nobody on the other side of the table. There might be an amalgamated security guard to say, look, mister, I know nothing about that. Eh? I just here doing our work. And if you lose your temper and you cuss, sycophants will tell you, why are you cussing the security guard? You're responsible. You're living in a country that is upside down, inside out, and twist round. And it is so because you have no power. And the UNC and the PNN are unleashing their little trolls to distract you and fool you. Now imagine that same guy, Mr. Bisesa Singh, was living in a country run by the Progressive Empowerment Party. 3 years in, we would have 41 health centers in each constituency, accident and emergency, 24/7, with dedicated ambulance, minor surgery suites, and beds for a 3-day stay. Those health centers will be able to treat with and deal with anything that needs stabilizing, treating. If you need to go and get your food badge, anything like that. You're driving on the road. The other day I was driving on the road and I felt I was getting some strange chest pains. So I turned around and I drove last week Friday and I drove into West Shore Medical, and they did an ECG and they took some blood and they checked my pressure and did some tests, and $1,850 later, $1,850 later, I was told, Mr. Alexander, you're just pushing yourself too hard, you're a bit too stressed. Now, I couldn't tell you all because 2 days before Gary went in the hospital, so I don't want it to look like all of the champions falling down at one time. So, but they say, Mr. Alexander, you're just pushing yourself too hard. Take a break. Slow it down a little bit. I do a lot more than the politics. So anyway, it got me to thinking that $1,850 wasn't burning a hole in my pocket. I had other things I could have used it for. But it's $1,850. And I'm thinking, the vast majority of people in this country cannot spend $1,850. They can't contemplate driving into West Shore. So they have to go and sit down in St. James Health Center and hope and pray, or go Port of Spain General Hospital and spend the next 9, 10, 12, 24 hours hoping and praying to not dead where they're sitting. And I wonder, the people who fight to defend the PNM and UNC don't have the opportunities I have. I don't need to do these things. I could ignore this. There are people who tell me, boy, Phil, if you put into your own business the time and effort you put into this politics, you're a billionaire. And I answered, the world don't need an ex-billionaire. Trinidad certainly don't need an ex-billionaire. Trinidad needs people who with enough heart and compassion for the people that you would put aside your ability to make billions and come and inform, educate, empower, and lead people out of bondage. But to the people who want to cuss and say, we like it, so the couple trolls that came on the chat tonight, because 2019, Pepe fighting nobody again. 2019, If you like it so, we're going to the finish line. We're going forward. We're raising the issues. We're bringing the solutions. We're doing all the work. We're opening 5 offices in the next 6 months. We're putting wheels on the ground. We're mobilizing the entire country. And if come election, you say, Mr. Philip, I prefer dry taps. Mr. Philip, I prefer no healthcare. Mr. Philip, I don't mind if my child come out of school, waste 10 years of his life, a moron, with no chance of a job, so that he could end up in a proper hustle and dead before he's 25. I want to vote for that, Mr. Philip. Mr. Philip, I don't want no chance at owning a house, or I have to go and suck somebody balls in HDC to get one. Because we have to gamble that. We have to leave all the naysayers. You know, but I'm telling you this, because when you watch, not the fake profiles and the trolls, because them is just create that to come and derail the conversation. You don't take that on at all. But the actual haters, the haters that hate me, somebody tell me, you're too black to be white, or you're too white to be black, and I don't even know what to do with that one. But the actual haters who want to attack me for being right, believe it or not, you know, cognitive dissonance. I shared with our frontline PEP members today. There's a study that proved that if you do an MRI on somebody and you're talking politics with them, and they staunch political, they have a strong political position, you can actually see their prefrontal cortex lose blood. You could actually see that no energy, they actually tune you out. And until you say something that they agree with, then you see it light up. So we know, but I am counting on, because I want to tell you, the people that hate me for being right, acknowledge what he's saying is right, but I don't like how he does cuss. And I want to ask each and every one of them, all these people who dead, lying down on a gurney, on a chair, gone in a hospital to make a baby, healthy and normal and dead. All these people who dead, waiting on an emergency vehicle. All of these people who dead. You don't want to cuss for them? You don't want to cuss too? I cussing on this. The majority of what I fight for don't fall in my garden. I could afford to have my needs met. If 2020, the people of this country vote to remain a shithole, I will agree with them, pack my stuff and go. There are first world nations that I could afford to pick up myself and go, who would gladly have me. Gladly have me. So I have no problem with that. If this is what is chosen, today is my birthday. Take a day off from my work, but still doing PEP business. Because this Saturday, we're launching the South Regional Hub. Yes, we're celebrating. Yes, we're celebrating our 2nd anniversary, but more importantly, we are opening an office in the Southland. Permanent office. The UNC can't do that in Diego Martin. We're going down in Manehambre and open an office there. Stake that. And then we go in Barataria. Then we go in Tompuna Road, Arima. Then we go in Cuba. Then we go in Tobago. And we go in Valencia. We don't have all these little agreements making up for all of these offices. Because we're mobilizing and we're organizing. Because we are putting everything on the line. Michael Jordan say, I am not the greatest basketball player who ever played, you know. But every time that ball bounce, every time that game starts, every time that whistle blow, I know I have a responsibility to leave everything I had on that court. And that is me. And that is the PEP. We are going to leave everything on that court. We are coming out here. We didn't come this far to only come this far. We are coming out here to blaze a proper trail to those who say, Philip, you're right. All your policies correct. I just don't like how you just cuss Put your fingers in your ear. Set me loose on those who have molested and abused you, who have plundered and pillaged your treasury, who have your children hungry and your mommy and your daddy in danger. Set me loose. Forget the cuss. Forget the cuss. Let the people who need to hear that cuss hear it. Set me loose. Don't talk about what kind of prime minister you're going to have. You have an absolute jackass as a prime minister right now who followed a royal drunk. We've had nothing that we could be proud of in that government for quite some time. We actually look back after and sanitize history to accommodate and pretend that we was okay with Manning. We pretend and we forget. We rewrite history to redact the bad parts. We had to forget what Pandey really do. We had to forget that Pamela Gokul didn't get sent up that ladder. We have to redact Manning and living in Hyatt with the Roti Queen. We have to forget he and the Dwen Queen was building a church in the bush with taxpayers' funds. Was the same design for the Prime Minister's house. They was building one in the bush for some reason. We had to forget all that. We had to forget Kamala. We had to forget Road. We had to pretend. Because if we don't pretend, then we had to face the truth. That we've supported, voted, tolerated bandits and jackasses as our leaders. Hear what I tell you. I guarantee you this. The Progressive Empowerment Party will give you a government like you've never seen before. We will put the power back in your hands. I want you to cuss too. I want the power in your hands. I want the priests, the pundits, and the imams to tell people, you see, that party, that is a people party. They want to fix the things that matter. Put your vote there. Because to continue to support the PNM and the UNC is the textbook definition, a living example of literally insanity, choosing wrong over right, taking water instead of wine. If you want a better country, if you want a better Trinidad and Tobago, join hands tonight. Put aside the racism. Open your mind to change. Tell yourself that the insanity of the PNM and the UNC can't continue no more, because if it does, we're in trouble. To get a roti because I didn't have much time, and the people from Santa Cruz Roti Shop called me after because they see my picture and I feel they take it like a horn. All you know, Santa Cruz Roti Cafe is my go-to. I didn't have the time, so I had to settle for Don's. But today, while at Don's, a gentleman who was giving me directions apart with the half-drunk self sober, he said, "Wait, it's you?" And he grabbed my hand and he shake and he shake and he shake and he won't stop shaking. And next man walk up to me and hug me up. They say, "Mr. Gentleman, all your doors stop here. People waking up."
If for 30 years you voting them in,
and it's only tears as soon as they win,
they give you big words
and enslave your soul, promising your roads.
and giving potholes. If they are the reason why the economy goes sprout, when you're voting, vote them out, vote them out. If it is the passing laws that
Them alone can float.
when you're voting, vote them out, vote them out. If it is the building eyesores,
East, west, north, and south. Just as how you vote them in.
vote them out. Register and vote them out. Totally vote them out.
Stain your finger and
Vote them out.
rescue the country.
Vote them out with tempo.
Tell Kamla Prasad Bisesa, I say, she have nothing to tell you that she should not say when she had 5 years and 6 months in government. It's one of two things. She didn't know how to govern then, and she needed the PEP to tell us, or she knew and she didn't care. And either way, that is reason enough to say miss us with your bullshit, Kamla.
They have me in pain. Let's put our country together again. Put them out with calypso.
And joyous refrain.
Let's put our country together again. If their policy,
Is a fallacy,
their bureaucracy,
a catastrophe,
if they cannot cope,
and you're seeing so, then your only hope is for them to go. You cannot spend $300 billion as a government and come away and leave the police service corrupt, the education system failed, the public health system in meltdown, the price of food out of control, the economy in tatters, and you're calling every little victory a win when the country was mismanaged to a fault. Trinidad has never had a government. From Eric Williams to now, they've been thiefdoms. From Eric Williams to now, they've all been fronts for criminals. From Eric Williams to now, you pick any contract from any government and expose it to scrutiny, and you will realize it is rotten corruption that has been running this country.
if it is fabrication, these statements that they spout.
When you're voting, vote them out.
If it is a frustration,
Just make you want to shout. When you're voting, before they just use out, thief out, sell out, and things out.
if it you vote them in, register and all of them, stick your finger and them on the system, put them out in Scarborough and in Port of Spain. Let's put our country together again. Put them out in Camuto and in Laramie.
Let's put our country together again. When we come off that radio show every Monday, every Wednesday, my phone is just light up. And I tell Trinidad and Tobago, that little radio show between 9 and noon on 104.7, you think these jackasses don't know why they're blocking Philip from normal media? If Philip Edward Alexander got the normal media that Faris and Munilal and Kamla and Ramlogan, all of them get, if the Progressive Empowerment Party government got the media it was entitled to, the news that it was entitled to, if tonight on the news, TV6 and CNC3 had the decency and the journalistic integrity to tell you that the Progressive Empowerment Party is about to celebrate 2 years in existence and is launching its South Regional Office, but they mad plague, they can't tell you that. They afraid that like cat afraid holy water. Because if we got the news and the media and the exposure we were entitled to, there would be not one voter or supporter left in the PNM and the UNC. Not one. Joe Paul asks, hey, ever pondered on how the democratic process allows for a bunch of sukuya to be elected to high public office to suck the blood out of the treasury while we remain Malkadi? Now, Joe Paul is the mayor of the Mango Tree in Maraval. So if you ever want to engage and have a conversation with him about that, I strongly suggest that you do.
People must come first. Citizens by right. None of we are worse. Yellow, black or white. Who shelter and clothes. Free movement and speech. A grand that grows. And one law for each. If it is that injustice, it's what they always show. When you're voting, vote them on. Vote them on. If it is that avarice, it's all they seem to know. When you're voting, vote them on. Vote them on. If it is their politics, it's just a puppy show. When elections day come, all bandits must go. Register and vote them on.
Let me see
If
the
they
bullshit.
see, vote them on. Stain your finger and vote them on. Show them no mercy. Vote them on. Vote them out with total scorn and utter disdain. Let's put our country together again. Pull them out of power. Terminate their reign. Let's put our country together again.
And that is why all of Trinidad and Tobago are cordially invited to join us this Saturday at 6 o'clock at 137 Manihambre Road. Come and be a part of the growing revolution of hearts and minds, the growing army, the Orange family. Come and be a part of something of substance. Come and add your voice. Come and ask questions. Pull it apart. Tear it apart. When our members ask trolls, how come you all don't ask these same drilling, grueling questions? All you just ask Philip and the rest of the PP. How come all you never ask Kamala and keep that? How come all you never was interested to know all those details? Blindly voting to cut your throat and to leave your children in, what is Joe call it? Malkadi. How come it is that you didn't step up to the plate when it was your time and your responsibility at elections time to ask both of those, all of those questions? How come? How come you reserve it for the Progressive Empowerment Party? How come? But this Saturday is another line in the sand. This Saturday at 6 p.m. we going live and we filming it to broadcast on TV. Tell them, never go on there. It up now. Thank all of you who are here with me tonight. I know it was impromptu, you didn't expect it. I love always, and when you finish here, share this video, send it viral, send it in every hole them Zandoli hiding in. Go and find them, hold it up to their face, ask Rowley and Kamla and the sycophants and the trolls to explain the condition of this wealthy country and why all of our people might be suffering so. Don't take bullshit as an answer. Stand your ground, join hands and unite. One people under one flag. We're going to fix this nation. Stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.